Hey, what's going on?
We gotta get. Are you sharing it in some groups here?
Getting on.
Getting on it.
Getting on.
Get down on it.
Hello.
How was that for How was that for week 17, people?
Ooh,
It was pretty.
It set the playoffs.
It did.
So.
We did pretty good on our picks this week too. So.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I think me and Jordan both went 12-4. You went 13-3. So yeah, our picks were pretty much dead on.
You're
And
still a game up on
now
that.
we'll get into it, I guess, when we talk about it. But like, I took the Cowboys and I took the Eagles because I had to, just because my superstitions. Even though I knew the football team had the better chance to win the game, I had to go against them and I had to take the Cowboys. For
Well,
reasons.
the Eagles would have kept a quarterback in, which we'll get to.
But. Yeah, we'll get to that. But anyways, you getting some of those shared into some groups?
Yeah, working on it.
So we got 5 shares already.
Five.
5.
And all right, as Jordan's working on that, I guess we'll
start it out.
Yeah, we'll start it out. The first game up was starting off the Sunday earlies. The first game up was the 10-5 Dolphins at the 12-3 Bills. The Dolphins basically pissed away their chance. They did not show up. The Bills
winning in.
Winning they were in, but the Bills won this game 56-26.
56.
Now, we was kind of going Dolphins, but we were thinking the Bills would sit players.
I thought so.
But the Bills did not sit players because I believe they had a shot at the 2 seed over Pittsburgh, so they went ahead and played their starters. And, we're going to play for the 2.
Well, another thing is, I think Allen was like 20 yards close to breaking the franchise pass.
Yeah, so you have to let him go for it.
And think about this, though. The Bills put up 56 points against a top 5 defense.
Yeah, the Dolphins weren't bad, the defense.
Pretty good.
So the Bills are definitely going to be a scary team going into the postseason here. There's, like you said, a lot of positives to say about the Bills. Josh Allen's had a hell of a season, but they're 12-4 now. The Dolphins fall to 10-6 and got knocked out of the playoffs when the Colts won.
Now the Dolphins' future looks kind of bright, but I don't. I don't know. I mean, I know he's a rookie, but some of these games I've seen. He's kind of a mixed bag, man.
So you're kind of saying that he might have thrived off playing with the best kids in the country in Alabama.
That's possible.
Yeah, that's very possible.
And Fitzpatrick came in there and won him some games.
He did that fourth quarter thing where he was like a Major League Baseball pitcher.
One earlier in the season, he won a few games for him. So Tua, I mean, he's going to take some work, but I mean, they're on the right track.
The future is bright, though.
Yeah. So. And the Bills, I mean, the Bills are the Bills.
I think they should have kept Fitzpatrick and rolled with him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to let the young guys in there, though.
Yeah, so like you said, not really much to say about the Dolphins other than their future is bright. But like I think Jordan was telling us earlier that Stephen A. Smith went on like a 10-minute rant about Tua saying, because everybody was saying like Tua has the it factor.
What's the
But Stephen A. was like, what is this it factor that you're talking about? He doesn't have the strongest arm. He doesn't have the strongest mobility.
He doesn't have deep accuracy, really.
He doesn't have deep accuracy. Like what is that it factor that everyone's talking about?
I guess we'll find out next year.
Yeah, we'll find out next year, I guess. But I kind of agree with what Stephen A. is saying there.
Once you get a regular off season.
Right.
This next year might be a little different.
This was a COVID off season. It was kind of odd.
And he didn't start right away, so we'll see. But
I do think they need a little bit more on the team though to really be pushed to the next level. I guess we'll move on. The 10-5 Ravens at the 4-10-1 Bengals.
Ravens won 38-3.
Wow.
There's not really a whole lot to say about it.
No.
Hey, the Bengals made a field goal again. That's happened a couple times.
Yeah, like you said, the Bengals, kind of like we're talking about the Dolphins, the Bengals have a lot to be ready for next year with Joe Burrow. Yeah. Hopefully he comes back and he's healthy because I want to see them at full strength. I want to see what Burrow can do.
They had a lot of guys out on the IR.
Right. So give Burrow.
And Burrow does look like, and Burrow
right?
Did look like the real deal. So I mean,
I'm hoping that he can come back from this injury and be okay.
Yeah,
he's young. He's young enough that I think he can. If this would have happened late career, then it might have been a career ender. But
it's too bad they don't know because they're picking top 5.
Right.
And he'd get another quarterback.
But you're going to stick with Burrow just because, like you said, he looked like the real deal.
And I could see them maybe going out and getting one of these veterans. I think there's going to be some guys on the market.
Yep.
Because he may not be able to start right away either. So
just to have somebody there in the wings ready. Kind of like Dallas did with Andy Dalton.
Well, I think, too, Bengal-wise, this was A.J. Green's last game.
Yeah, probably. I agree as well. Ravens, they are now 11-5 as the Bengals fall to 4-11-1. You guys rose to 11-5 with the win. Mm-hmm. This is a scary team.
They're clicking finally.
Heading into the playoffs. Yes, they are clicking. They beat, granted it's been a couple bottom barrel teams, but they want the Giants. They beat the crap out of the Bengals. Like you said, though, they're clicking. They're hitting he's hitting the open receiver. He's making the runs when needed. The defense has held strong. So
I'm pretty sure this game they ran for, I think it was 400 yards. They were
overall.
They were in the top 5 for the record for a game.
I
mean, they're looking good.
I believe it.
Next game, we'll kind of go over that a little bit later, but it's obviously the Titans. And
we'll talk about that in our pick.
We've seen this one before.
Yep.
Where you're getting hot
or you're not.
And then you drop the egg.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the next one. The 12-3 Steelers at the 10-5 Browns. The Browns pulled this off.
Against
24 to...
Huh? Against backup.
Yeah, against backup. But 24-22 was the official. The Browns are now 11-5 and in the playoffs for the first time since 2002. I guess let's hear it about the Browns. They're 11-5 now and in the playoffs.
This doesn't look good.
No, it didn't. But they're another one of those teams. We talk about them. Jekyll and Hyde kind of team, they've beat some really good teams,
done some positive things,
and then they struggle against teams that you think they would beat.
Well, it's like that Ravens game. It was back and forth.
Yeah, right. When they show up, I mean, they're tough. I mean, but it's just, what team are we getting the first week of the playoffs? So, I don't know. They got potential, but do I see them winning the Super Bowl?
No. I don't see them winning the Super Bowl either. Now, the Steelers on the other side, they are now 12-4. The Bills locked up the 2 seed. The Steelers kind of, like you said, they rested their play. The Bills went for it. The Steelers didn't. That's point blank.
There's a lot of talk that the Steelers kind of didn't want to play the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of instead of going from the 2, they went to the 3.
Steelers are good, but see, they've been that team all year to me. That's kind of like they're good. Their record says they're really good, but are they that good?
Right.
I don't know because I could see them getting beat by a lot of teams.
Yeah, they started 11-0 and now they're 12-4, so that means they lost 4 out of their last 5 games. So that's some reality to chew on there. So. We'll move on to the next one. The 6-9 Vikings at the 5-10 Lions.
Why?
They had to win this game.
Yep.
So they could get the 13th or 14th pick in the draft.
The Vikings officially won. The final score was 37-35, and the Vikings are 7-9 now, and the Lions are 5-11.
And the Lions are looking for a coach.
Yep.
So, I mean, not much to say. I mean, this whole year's kind of been up and down for the Vikings. I mean, they started out and they lost 5 games, and then they won 5, and there was a chance to make the playoffs.
Right, you guys were wanting to make that push, and then you kind of fell back off.
I mean, injuries, like we've said, week after week. The defense has been decimated, which still they should have played a little better in certain situations. The offense seems to click, but I don't know. If you look at the way things go, they'll be in the playoffs next year. Every other year. Mm-hmm. If you look at Zimmer, every other year they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen.
But
we got all of our players back. We got all of our players back healthy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Which, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of Pro Bowl players that are on their defense that they will get back. But
And the Vikings did exactly what you said they would do. They went 7. You kind of gauged it as between 7 and 9 and 9 and 7, 7 and 9, 8 and 8, or 9 and 7. One of those three. They went 7 and 9, just kind of like you thought. Middle of the pack, not bad enough to get a top 5 pick, but good enough to
just right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Bad enough where you're not making the playoffs, but not bad enough where you're getting a top pick. Like, come on, man. Like, if you're going to be bad, just be bad.
They don't think that, though. Like we say, we think, well, there might be somebody that wants to tank, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I mean, most teams aren't going to tank.
No, I know. It's the players' contracts are on.
They're not thinking about, I get, a better draft pick. I mean, but then when it comes down to the last week, it's like,
doesn't really matter.
But I mean, the Lions are not good on defense at all.
Now, do you guys think this is Matthew Stafford's last game?
That was going to be my next question. Actually, is what are you guys thinking? I'm thinking Stafford might go.
I think he needs to go.
Yeah, kind of like Phillip Rivers. Rivers left the Chargers. He's in the playoffs now with the Colts. Now, we'll get to that later, whether he's going to be successful.
I could see Stafford going to, like, New England.
Right. That's it. Put Stafford in a good situation, kind of like Rivers went to a decent Colts team. I think Stafford could work with a good team. Now, he's not going to want to go to another bottom barrel team. So there's going to have to be a good opportunity for him.
Well, the problem is right now, we've talked about this. If you look around the league right now, there's not a lot of job openings for quarterbacks.
Right.
I mean, and there's a lot of veteran guys that are probably going to be on the market. And it's
I can see that.
Like Matt Ryan could be gone.
Yep. We're talking about
Stafford, Cam Newton.
Yep. Newton already said he's not coming back.
Breeze might retire.
The next game.
Yeah, Breeze could retire.
Now, if Breeze does retire, do you guys think it's going to go to Hill, or do you think? I know Peyton said that he's going to give Winston a shot at getting it.
I don't think they'll go out and get somebody else. I think they'll probably fight with those two maybe for a season and see what happens.
That's what I was going to say, is you make it a quarterback battle. You make it an internal battle.
And then if it doesn't do well, next year maybe they'll draft somebody.
Yep.
No, you really think?
Yeah, I would be on board with that.
I think they'd be better off going with Winston.
With Sean Payton?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I could see Peyton working with Winston.
Maybe they keep Michael Thomas.
And the Panthers are another team that could be looking for a quarterback. They may not keep Teddy.
See, their problem is they shoveled a bunch of money at Teddy.
49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, there's some quarterbacks that could be available, but
but
there's a lot of quarterbacks in the draft coming out too.
Where would they all land?
Yeah, so
I guess we'll move on from the Vikings game unless you have anything else to say about them.
The only other thing I can think of is Gary Kubiak. Rumors are that he might be retiring, so they'll be looking for another offensive coordinator.
How many times has he retired?
There is one other thing. Justin Jefferson.
Oh, Justin Jefferson.
1,400 yards as a rook.
He broke. Let me pull out the pick here.
Good old Randy.
Yeah, I thought he was just breaking Randy Moss's record. In 98, his rookie record, Moss had 1,313 yards. And then number 2 is Anquan Bolden. In 2003, he had 1,377. Justin Jefferson hit 1,400
on the nose,
and he only played 14 games, I think.
So
that's 100 yards a game. Give him another 2 games,
200, 300 yards.
Yeah, I mean you're looking at least 1,500 yards if he had a couple bad games.
That's not a bad rookie.
But you get 1,500 to 1,600 yards, man, for a rook.
So I think the Diggs trade. I think it worked out for both teams.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we don't have to pay that much to somebody, and we're getting the same production out of them. So. And hell, he could be one of the best. I mean, you don't know. I mean, you just don't know how things are going to go. But I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, other than that.
So the next game up is the 2-13 Jets at the 6-9 Patriots. The Patriots won 28-14. The Patriots are now 7-9. The Jets are 2-14. It's kind of a meaningless win here because neither team had a shot at the playoffs. But we just kind of figured the Patriots were going to win just because they're the better team.
Yeah.
But the biggest news was Adam Gase was officially
finally
fired. So I mean, should it have happened during the middle of the season, or do you like the play by just letting Gase play the season out and then look for a new coach in the offseason?
I think he should have been done.
I mean, I think so
too,
but from a GM perspective, just let Gase get through the season.
Let the drama go.
Let the drama go without the middle season interim coach bullcrap.
Well,
and then just look for a head coach in the actual offseason.
The stupid thing was a couple months ago they were like, "Oh no, Adam Gase is going to be our coach of the future." They kept saying, everybody's like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Like,
yeah, you knew that he wasn't.
Well, I wouldn't think, but it is the Jets,
and
they do make stupid decisions. So, I mean, that job, I don't know. I mean, when they had the number 1 pick, it might have been a little more tempting, but
right.
I don't know because there's a lot of problems.
There. I'm with you there.
There's another one, Darnold. Do they keep Darnold?
Yeah.
The problem is, I think you keep him, and I think you trade the pick because, I mean, you haven't really seen what he can do because your team, you haven't put a team around him.
Really?
Right, you got to build a team around him.
Really, I think their best bet is they need to take that tackle from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
If they were going to stay at that pick.
Right.
I would do that because they already got that, Mekhi Benton. Mm-hmm. So you have your franchise left tackle, get another tackle. That solidifies your tackle.
Well, we don't know. They may not be that high on Fields. I mean, we don't know. Maybe they just liked Lawrence,
Speaking of that, do you guys think that Fields could take Lawrence for the top pick?
I don't think so. I think Lawrence is... But, I mean, Clemson did lose.
And they have said Lawrence is kind of... He's went downhill when he's played these top games.
It does seem like that. It does seem like Lawrence hasn't had the same shine that he had the last couple of years.
But Fields is taken off, but then you have the drama like with Haskins. The Ohio State quarterbacks don't pan out.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Well, there could be somebody shocking that goes ahead of him. I mean, Lawrence. I think Lawrence is going to go.
Daniel Jones for the Giants.
But I mean, you got
number 6.
Zach Wilson and Trey Lance. I mean, one of those guys could be before Fields. You don't know. I mean,
on the Patriots side of things, they officially went 7-9, but I'm getting the feeling here that the Patriots had a lot of injuries, kind of like we're talking about your Vikings. There was opt-outs early in the season, injuries. Their quarterback situation was put together last minute. I mean...
Newton just did not play well.
No.
There was a few games he had, under 100 yards. I mean...
Like you were saying earlier about Stafford, I mean, the Patriots, on paper... if Belichick stays,
they're a complete team.
They've got a complete defense, a little issues on the offensive side of the ball, but with a guy like Stafford, or you know what I mean, or hell, even Jimmy Garoppolo could go back to New England. He knows Belichick. He's
which I could see
in the quarterback room with Belichick. So I could see a couple different angles that the Patriots play, but I will say this: I think the Patriots, if Belichick stays around. And if they are able to continue to keep a decent team, decent talent, I think they'll be in the playoffs within the next couple of years. But it also depends what kind of veteran quarterback they get.
I just kind of wonder how long Belichick's going to stay.
Right.
I mean, he may retire.
That's the big
May
question.
just leave. I mean, he's pretty old now, isn't he? I mean,
could he go to the Chargers? I
don't know.
I don't know if
he's been a Patriot for so damn long.
But like you said, he's at the point age-wise.
I mean, how long does he want to continue doing it? Really?
Now, I mean, would he be kind of like in the same point as Brady? Does he need to solidify himself away from the Patriots to show that he can win?
Right. I don't know.
I mean, the Chargers have enough pieces.
But to me, I mean, if you're him though, you're leaving a team to go to another team that's not that great, even though there is some pieces. Because if all their defensive players come back and maybe they draft a receiver or
they've got a complete defense.
They kind of just need a quarterback,
right?
Get Jimmy G and get Stafford and get Julio.
So we'll move on from that one. The next one, heartbreaker, the 6-9 Cowboys. My Cowboys at the 5-10 Giants. Woo-hoo. The Giants broke our hearts. They beat us 23-19. The Cowboys are now 6-10. The Giants are 6-10. Giants, I mean, both teams missed the playoffs because Washington won. But the Giants they played us well, man. I was telling my wife when I was watching the game, it was early on in the game, first quarter.
I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah.
I changed.
But no,
different.
it was. I was telling my wife that I was telling her like the eye test. The score wasn't really out of hand, but the eye test. I sat there. I straight told her. I said the Giants are going to probably win this game because they are looking a lot better. They're getting first downs. They're moving the ball, and we were struggling. There was a statistic that popped up early on in that game. So the Giants had 154 yards of offense, and we had like 32 yards. And it was like 33 rushing yards and -1 passing yards. So it was just that stat line kind of proved to me that the Giants came to play and the Cowboys were struggling. Now, we did get out of that struggle.
No.
But, I mean, we struggled in the first quarter and we got behind. We did come out of it. Zeke got a touchdown, but it wasn't enough. You know what I mean? We didn't come out of it early enough and fast enough. But it's just like, man, this just kind of epitomizes the Cowboys' season here. We're 6-10 for a fucking reason.
I still...
You know what I mean? Like.
I still don't think Mike McCarthy's the guy. I know they'll give him another year, but I think it's play calling.
I guess we're gonna have to see what happens.
You got talented players, and you're not doing. I mean, you're putting up 23 points on the Giants or 19 points on the Giants. It's like
right now Dak comes back next year, hopefully fully healthy.
The honest,
because that's the problem. You don't know what he's gonna look like.
The honest truth,
he comes back fully healthy. I think we'll be okay. I think we can make a playoff push in this division. This division is not shown to be really great.
But I think
we could win the division next year.
I think you guys need to move on from Zeke.
Yeah,
that ship has sailed.
Yep. Zeke has not stepped up at all this year.
I think
this goes back to the issue of paying running backs.
Yeah,
because it seems like a lot of times when you pay running backs.
No, I personally think we give Zeke one more year. Give him Dak. Give him the full offense. Give him the full everything.
See, my thing about
full line.
Why would you just run with Pollard? He's cheaper. He's younger, and he looks better. He's looked better all the last.
I'm just giving Zeke the benefit of the doubt because as a Cowboys fan, you want to be loyal to a degree.
The last 100-yard game he had was when Dak got hurt.
It's ridiculous. But on the Giants side of things, they're 6-10. Barkley was out this season. Kind of like the Dolphins and the Bengals. Daniel Jones, is there anything to look forward to with Daniel Jones?
I don't think he's the answer.
This whole division's weird to me because, I mean...
Like I said, he's down Barkley. So you get Barkley back, that opens up the offense a little bit.
Because it's like you look at all these teams in this division... In every other division, they'd probably be the last place team. I mean, you know what I mean? It's weird, you know.
Well, another thing, I guess, to me is if they were to scrap a division, I think they should scrap with us.
Yeah.
And put in different teams.
Right.
Switch it up.
I mean, we've talked about that before. Like, I think the whole playoff thing of giving a 7-9 team a home game. It's just absolutely ridiculous to me. It's the 5 seed Buccaneers who went 11-5 at the 7-9 football team. For like, if you want to give the division leader a guaranteed playoff spot, that's fine. But then you should seed them by record.
I mean,
the 7-9 football team gets in, but they should be the 7 seed. That's the way that it should be. Because it should go by, like, you're guaranteed in by to win a division, but that's it. You're not guaranteed a fucking home game. It's ridiculous.
I still think they should do what I said a long time ago. You shouldn't play 2 teams every season. You should play all the NFC teams.
15
every NFC team plays every NFC team.
1 AFC team.
And then you pick the top 7.
Yep.
That way,
everything's fair. Nobody has an easy schedule.
And there's a one-on-one versus every team.
Yeah.
So you will have the one-on-one tiebreaker.
So you're really getting the best teams in the playoffs.
Right, the best 7 teams, regardless of division.
Because, like we said, for years the Patriots had a cakewalk. I mean, their division was terrible.
They're pretty much gifted 5 wins. I mean, not gifted, it isn't NFL, but basically
they got they're 5 in.
Then they've got to win 5 more games somewhere else on the schedule.
So I think maybe one day they will. But
yeah, maybe they will. Anyways, we'll move on from the Cowboys. Like I said, they broke my heart. So it wouldn't have mattered anyways, though, because the football team did win.
Yeah.
But the next game was the 4-11 Falcons at the 10-5 Buccaneers. The Buccaneers played very well in this game. They won 44-27. Didn't really give the Falcons much of a chance there at all.
Mike Evans did get a little banged up. I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't heard if he's
They said something
serious.
supposedly it's like an ACL.
Ooh.
But he did break the, 7 seasons with 1,000-yard
Yep.
receiving.
Yeah.
7 consecutive.
Yeah.
If he's not playing, that's going to hurt them, though.
Oh, they got Antonio Brown.
Still.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Falcons are officially 4-12, and like you were saying, Matt Ryan might be gone.
They're looking for a new coach, so
Maybe Julio might even be gone. Depends on what kind of package.
You know that Russell Gage and Ridley
No.
went fine, really.
Could we see a package trade? Ryan and Julio as a package deal? Or do you think
My
that
problem
Ryan
is-
would go elsewhere and then Julio would go
Yeah,
to somewhere
probably
else?
somewhere else.
My problem is that's a lot to have for somebody to have to give up.
Right.
To me, they're not.
I don't know if we've ever seen a package deal like that.
To me, I look at the Falcons and like they're another one of those teams that's so you can't figure them out.
Right.
Now, is it Matt Ryan's fault? I don't know. Matt Ryan's been a pretty good quarterback for the most part.
Yeah,
he's not
I would
like
agree with
super
that.
old.
But I think you get to the point where we kind of discussed.
It gets
you
flat.
You get like a 5-year window with a quarterback. Either they can get you over the hump or they can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
to me though, for them, maybe where they're picking, if you pick up like a Trey Lance, maybe you keep Matt Ryan for another year
Right, just to let
and
let
have
it
him
see.
play underneath.
Right.
Maybe it would light a fire under Matt Ryan's ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what they did with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Jordan Love.
And then Jordan Love and then Wentz. The fire did not get lit under his ass.
but then
He
if you
had
think
lost
you're in
it.
contention right now and can win, you're kind of throwing your draft pick away. So
Right,
it
right.
depends on what you're thinking. I
Right.
mean,
On the Buccaneer side of things, like I said, they're now 11-5. They've locked into the 5 seed. Brady, he's 43 touchdowns, 43 years old. Coincidence?
The man.
He has exactly the amount of touchdowns of his age, so that I thought that was kind of a weird coincidence.
He has played better than I think what any of us thought.
Yeah, I think so as well. 43 touchdowns at 43 years old is nothing to joke about. I mean, that's a lot of touchdowns.
look how-
There's some young guys that ain't even throwing 40, dude.
yeah, but do all those guys have a team like he has?
Right? He does. They're pretty.
Brown, Godwin, Evans, Gronk.
He put himself
I mean,
in the best situation.
no,
Yeah, he did. He put himself in a good situation there with the Bucks. I mean, they're 11-5 now. We'll talk about the playoff game when we get there. I don't think there's really anything else to say about them other than they played well. They locked themselves into the 5 seed. So, going on to the Sunday late games. This is really the slate of games that kind of set the playoffs officially.
No.
Other than the football team and Eagles at the end, but that was only like one team that set. But this kind of got everything set. The first one up is the 11-4 Saints at the 5-10 Panthers. The Saints walked through this one and won 33-7. Saints are now 12-4. The Panthers fell to 5-11. We'll start with the Saints.
I mean,
They walked through it, 33-7, blowout.
I mean, it was kind of expected.
Yeah. I didn't expect a blowout like this, but I expected them to win.
the Saints look like the Saints, and the Panthers have kind of not looked so well the past few weeks.
Right.
So you're going to have that with a new coach.
You gotta
They're still trying to figure out. McCaffrey's been out.
So, I mean, with Drew Brees back, though, are the Saints going to be able to make a push? Or do you think there's going to be a few teams in the NFC that's going to get in the way?
I think they'll get upset. I think one of these other teams. I think one of these other teams is gonna get them.
Right.
Saints lately seem like they kind of blow it in the playoffs.
Right. The Vikings last
You
year.
look at, especially with the Vikings,
Yeah.
track record on them.
And, Drew Brees, awesome quarterback, dude.
No.
Put stats up all day long. Only got 1 ring. Aaron Rodgers is the same way.
1 ring.
Stats all day long, all year long.
But you only
1
got
ring.
1 ring.
So it's kind of weird that you're seeing these elite quarterbacks like Breeze.
Well, I mean, what's the thing
Not
to say? So
having more rings than
when we
him.
look at Rodgers, highest paid. Breeze, highest paid. Russell Wilson, highest paid.
You make all the money, and then the talent surrounding you starts.
The
to
weird
fall
thing
off
is
a
these
little
teams
bit.
make the playoffs every year, so I mean they've got a chance every year.
Right. But like I said, on the Panthers side of things, They went 5-11 this season.
They got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Is Teddy Bridgewater the answer? He kind of didn't look that great
PJ
towards the end of
Walker.
the season, so
I think Robbie Anderson's a free agent, and I think that
There's a lot to
Curtis
chew
Samuel.
on this offseason.
Yeah.
So, we'll move on to the next one, which was the 12-3 Packers at the 8-7 Bears. The Packers won 35-16. This was a better game than what the final score said, because it was actually a pretty close game until the 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Packers, it was like 21-16. Packers scored a touchdown with about 12 minutes to go, put it up 28-16, and then Mitch Trubisky throws an interception,
looking like
and then it
Mitch.
goes 35-16. And the Bears were on fire the last few games leading up to this one, and then they just laid neck here low. Luckily, the Cardinals lost, which that game's still coming up. So the Bears still squeaked in at 8-8. They squeaked into a playoff spot somehow, amazingly.
Yeah.
so if you're the Bears, do you start Foles?
I don't know. If Foles is a playoff quarterback.
They'll go with Trubisky.
Yeah, they'll go with Trubisky, though. Now, I mean, Bears, we'll start the Bears here. The final was 35-16. They played well up until late third quarter, fourth quarter. So
They're a playoff team, but I mean, are they really? I don't know. Like I said, I think they're kind of pretenders. I think they've beat a lot of bad teams.
they jumped out to a real hot start. I think it was 5-1, and then they're 8-8. So that means they've went 3-7.
And the past
Over
few
the
weeks,
final 10
Trubisky's been
games.
playing good, but they haven't played very good teams either. So
And then when they play a team like this, they got
I
whooped.
think they're going to be a one and done team here.
I think so as well. On the Packers side of things, like we talked about the Bills, the Packers did play all their starters.
No,
I mean, unless if the starter needed the rest.
their offense
But-
is humming. That's for sure.
Packers are 13-3. Man,
Their defense has
It's-
played a little better, but there's still holes in that run game
Yeah.
defense. I mean, if you can run on them a lot,
yeah, like I said, the Bears had an opportunity.
Yeah.
They hung in there, but then Packers fashion, they took control late. So I could see the Packers getting upset, like you said. Run defense, if a team can get on them early and stay on them, I could see them losing.
It could happen.
Anything else?
I think that's about it. Yeah.
So the next game was the 6-9 Chargers at the 14-1 Chiefs.
This was a shocker. Not
The
really.
Chargers won 38-21, but the Chiefs did sit starters.
Yep.
So the Chargers were a 7-9, and officially the Chiefs fell to 14-2, which they're still the 1 seed. They've locked the
And
1.
breaking news for the Chargers, they've let go head coach Anthony Lynn,
Lynn has been fired.
which
I mean, it was kind of expected.
it was, but then they also won 4 games in a row at the end of the season. And they let
Yeah.
him go after that, and it's kind of like, well, I don't know. But there's a lot of talent on that team. Justin Herbert
Yeah.
looks like the real deal.
And that's what Jordan was saying earlier about Belichick going there. They
Yeah.
went 7-9, but like you said, they got Herbert, they've got talent, they've got running backs, they got receivers.
They'd probably be the
Defense is okay.
They'd probably be the best.
It's not the
spot
greatest
for
defense.
Bieniemy to go.
Right. So this right here is probably gonna be your top team coach wise that coaches are gonna want to go to.
But it's
Like you said, Jets, no one's gonna want to go there.
And the Jaguars
But the
is intriguing
Chargers-
because of their draft picks.
Right.
But
But the Chargers kind of have the win now capability.
and you already know you have a
With-
good quarterback. You
Right.
don't have to take a chance on a new quarterback.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Is that they have the win now capability with just you plug a couple veterans in, and you install. If you're a
Game
new
plan.
head coach, you install your game plan, your system. This is going to be the sexiest pick for any coach that's out there that wants a potential good situation.
And on the Chiefs side, I mean, like I said, they didn't
They
play
didn't play
starters.
So
We know how good they are. I mean, they've got beat twice, and you know
this one
didn't really count.
Yeah,
but,
this one was just kind of like they pretty much just threw it away. Just let the backups have a little time on the field.
But like we'd said, you know, the last few weeks they haven't looked. They've won, but have they looked as high powered on offense as they had been?
But now
not so much. But
with this rest that they're getting, is that going to hurt them or help them?
It seems like it hurts every team.
The AFC is pretty wide open to me. I could see a lot of upsets in the AFC
because they're not only getting this week, but they're getting the bye week as well. So the last time he would have played is 3 weeks ago. So you played, and then you get this one off, next one. You're looking 3 weeks of no football. Well, I think you're going to have some rust.
I'm trying to think who they.
You're going to feel good, but I think you are going to have some rust coming into that divisional round. If they can make it through divisional round, I could see them going all the way because then I could see them getting hot. But if somebody can jump all over them, jump up 21-3 and not let off the throttle, I could see them losing divisional round because they rested too much.
Oh, I could see that.
No.
I mean, that happened to the Ravens.
Mm-hmm. The Ravens rested too much last year.
Well, yeah, we rested the last game.
And you lost.
Bye weekend, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You get too much rest and you come out rusty. And then if you get into a hole, then it's hard to dig yourself out from a 21-3 hole. But like you said, Chiefs side of things, not much else to say. I guess we'll keep moving on. The next game was the 7-8 Raiders at the 5-10 Broncos. The Raiders won 32-31.
It was a back and forth game.
Back and forth game. The Raiders have had these kind of games all year long. It seems
they're the only team that beat the Chiefs. Earlier in the season.
They're 8-8 on the season. No hope for a playoff spot really. Broncos fall to 5-11, and the big news is John Elway stepped down.
That's probably the best thing that could happen.
Probably.
So after Elway brought Manning in and believed in Manning, he took him to a couple Super Bowls, won one ring.
Should talk about a guy that's taken 1,000 quarterbacks.
Now you want to talk.
After that, Elway just seemed like he.
You want to talk about spoiler? Elway's gonna get his helmet back.
He couldn't click. He couldn't click on a quarterback. He couldn't find anybody that he liked.
It's kind of like Michael Jordan trying to put a franchise together.
Right.
Oh yeah. Jesus.
So let's talk team-wise. Let's go Broncos first.
Okay.
5-11. Like you said, Elway couldn't find a quarterback, but what do you like talent-wise with them?
We got children coming in.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you later, alligator.
Talent-wise,
so yeah,
Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy.
So basically, anything to like on the Broncos.
I think they're aging.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Are they going to take another quarterback? I mean,
to me, Drew Lock's not the answer. And I guess we'd go through it. So you got your running backs. You got Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay. They're just rotation guys.
Melvin Gordon's past his time.
Yeah.
Philip Lindsay was all right. Judy's kind of showed glimpses.
Basically, you're thinking Broncos need to go into full rebuild mode.
And to be honest with you, watching this game, Vic Fangio, what the hell, man? He called timeout at the weirdest moments. The Raiders were like at the end of the game getting ready to go into the 2-point conversion, and they were running out of time, and then Vic Fangio calls a timeout. It's like, what? Even John Gruden after the game was like, well, I want to thank him for calling a timeout, because it's like some of the things they do. It's like he just calls weird shit, and it doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
They're a far ways away.
They're a ways away from being.
I think they're going to be at the bottom of that. See, the thing is, the Raiders have shown improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers, I think, are going to be pretty good. And I think they're the one that's going to be at the bottom.
Right. Now, on the Raiders side of things, they're 8-8. Kind of like your Vikings, middle of the pack, middle of the draft pick. You have talent. You have Carr.
They lost some pretty close games, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were almost in.
You would say 3 of those losses could be flipped around. Because like I said, lost 8 of them. Let's say you win those 3, at least 3 of those tight ones. You're looking at 11 wins.
Their problem,
you know what I mean?
Their problem's always been penalties.
Penalties and can't finish the game.
Defensive penalties.
Why though?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter who the coach is.
Yeah, it hasn't mattered who the coach was. They're always defensively. They make boneheaded plays, especially in the secondary.
Right.
I mean, they've gave I don't know how many games away at the end of the games for like holding, and I don't know. They got to work on their defense, that's for sure. But their offense does seem like it's clicking. I mean, Henry Ruggs has been pretty good. Darren Waller's been outstanding.
So, as your secondary Raiders fan, Raiders your second team here. How many more years do you want to give Gruden?
I think it's not, another year. I think it's
Well, he's got, 7 left?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. He's got 6 or 7 left at least. Are you willing to give him at least a couple more, 1 to 2 more years? I mean, I'm guessing he's going to get at least one more.
He's going to get a few more, I think.
But give him a couple more to see if this 8-8 can turn into 11-5, and then if that happens, then you would continue with him until you start losing.
I sometimes think he's the same way as like Zimmer.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of old school.
And
maybe it's not working as well as it should.
Right.
Well, I guess you got Carr.
Yeah. And honestly,
pocket quarterback.
Before this year, I thought he'd probably get rid of Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know. I think he sticks with him.
Actually, here's a quick question for you. So this kind of popped up. Says, with Anthony Lynn getting fired, he has emerged as the top candidate for your guys' offense coordinator position.
No, for the Vikings.
What do you think?
My whole thing, okay. Gary Kubiak's son is the quarterback coach and has been for a while. I don't know if they'll bring somebody from the outside in because they could give it to him and keep everything kind of similar.
You put Kubiak in like an advisor role.
Well, see, I don't know. I think Kubiak might just be done. But I mean, it's possible. I mean, it could be a good thing. I mean, he was the coordinator for what team was he the coordinator for that got him that job for the Chargers? Because he did. God, I can't think off the top of my head. Because that's why he got the job.
Was it?
Can't remember.
I don't.
Are you playing our video?
Hey, I'm just looking.
We're getting a little off topic here.
Yeah, we're off topic. But I don't know. I mean, it could be a good thing.
So 8-8 Raiders, potential, keep Gruden around.
I mean, I think they will for a couple of years. I mean, his contract's guaranteed, so I guess it really doesn't matter.
See how it goes. So the next game was the 10-5 Titans at the 4-11 Texans. The Titans won this game 41-28. Locked themselves into the playoffs. Their Titans officially went 11-5. Texans fell to 4-12. The big storyline though was Derrick Henry, and we've kind of said it before. This team goes as Derrick Henry goes. He needed 223 yards to crack 2,000, and he was at like 231. I don't know what he officially ended up, but he cracked over 2,000 yards, the 8th running back in history to do so. Are you thinking, if Mahomes or Rodgers gets MVP, are you thinking Henry gets offensive player?
Yeah, 250.
So he was
tries.
Right. So he was up there a little over 2,000. So not enough to break the all-time records, but 2,000-yard rusher is very rare. Like I said, he was the 8th running back in history to accomplish the feat. That's a lot of running backs, and he's in the top 8 now. So, could he get Offensive Player of the Year? It definitely seems, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the Titans go as he goes. When he has a bad game, Tannehill can't seem to keep it together. But when he has a game like this, they win 41-28. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's not going to win MVP. That's going to go to Rodgers or Mahomes. But I could see him in the talks for Offensive Player of the Year just because of some of those factors.
I can see it.
And it's possible he gets it. I mean, they give the quarterback, the MVP. Then maybe they'll give him the
right. Just so it's a little more.
Because I can't think of a receiver that
Devontae Adams.
Maybe,
but he doesn't have the 2,000 yards receiving.
That's true. Yeah.
So, but on the Texans side, 4-12, terrible season. Last week we had the whole thing with J.J. Watt calling teammates out. I don't know effort-wise what happened here, but I mean, like I said, they got their defense got
still playing. I mean.
Their defense got ran over. Like I said, he had 250 yards rushing on this Texans defense. J.J. Watt's probably not too happy with how his defense has performed this year.
Here's a question. If you guys are in this situation, would you even have played Watson?
Well, you're 4-11.
Taking the chance that he could have
It's ridiculous.
Especially when your offensive line's horrible.
That's about the Texans are another team that has a job opening there.
No first round picks.
No first round picks.
No first round picks.
Either,
it's not a very good. This is not a very good spot to be in. They got Watson, but nothing else.
I think they'll get a coach by the off season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they need a GM too, don't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, as far as that they go, it was a bad season. It's a bad position for any new coach to be in with no picks. You might have to offload J.J. Watt to recoup maybe a first round pick or.
Oh God.
Hopefully, you'd get a first out of him. Hopefully.
What sucks is really for them.
Then you'd
the
be
situation
losing.
you're in, I mean, you might just have to get rid of everybody. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
just
you're
rebuild.
when you're paying your quarterback all that money, and you got to build every single position pretty much around them.
Yep,
well, that's hard.
It's bad.
Really, with Watson, you could look at. I mean, probably New England would give him a first.
And I think any team would give him a first.
Minnesota.
You'd probably give more. I mean, he's a good quarterback. Like I said, we talked about him. He doesn't get all the hype, but if you look at his stats, they're just as good as Mahomes.
Right.
And he's running for his life every play.
If you didn't know that he was 4-12,
and
if you only had stat line to go by, he's at the top of the league.
Yeah.
But 4-12.
Imagine how he would be with a good team.
Yeah. That's the problem. With we have 4-12 is. Quarterbacks get a lot of love, but they also get a lot of hate. You're 4-12, quarterbacks fall. You're 12-4, quarterbacks praise.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that's just the way it is. That's just the way the NFL is.
But if you look at
even though it's a team game, that's just how people are closed-minded about it. The quarterback is the main position, so you kind of live and die with your quarterback.
But if you look at it, he's the one that signed it.
Right.
True.
He is. So
he should just held out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're a younger guy and somebody's throwing $100 million in your face.
Right. You're going to sign that for the longevity of your financial situation.
So
we'll move on from that. The 1-14 Jaguars at the 10-5 Colts was the next one. Marone was fired. Was the big storyline. The Colts won the game 28-14. Colts locked themselves into the playoffs with this, which knocked the Dolphins out when they won. Mm-hmm. So the Jaguars fell to 1-15. The Colts are 11-5 and locked into the 7th seed. So
this could be Rivers' last go.
Yeah.
Yep. So I guess we'll start with the Colts. Rivers' last go. I was kind of saying earlier, Rivers left the Chargers, came to the Colts, and he's been okay.
See, my thing
he's not great. Now, I don't know who I'm going to pick in the pick'ems, but I think this is definitely could be Rivers' last go, maybe one more year.
My thing is,
but Colts-wise, where do you go from Rivers? Do you go back to Brissett, or do you
Andrew Luck?
Yeah, call him back.
I think you go for your team's good right now. You got your good offensive line. You got some rookies. I think you go after a Stafford or a Matt Ryan.
Somebody that's a little younger than Rivers.
You want to throw something out there.
A veteran that's a little younger than Rivers.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd say you try making a trade for Watson.
Oh, okay. But would they interdivisional trades usually don't happen too often? Teams don't like to do that because they hate each other.
Yeah.
Well, if you're the Texans, you need anything.
Colts are 11-5. Rivers put them in a good position. There's not really much else you can say about the Colts side. Like I said, I do think they're going to need a quarterback for the future. Is it Brissett, or do you go out and get one, like you were saying, Ryan or Stafford?
Cam Newton.
Or do you draft one? All options are on the table.
Yeah.
Or Cam Newton. But Jaguars side of things, 1-15. Number 1 draft pick. They're taking Lawrence with that pick, most likely.
Yeah, and
I believe they have a second first-round draft pick as well.
Mm-hmm. And then they've got. Do they have a couple seconds too? I think, don't they?
So we'll just worry about the first right now. Yeah. We'll say they're going to take Lawrence, but then who are you taking? You taking an offensive lineman or a receiver? What are you thinking if you're the Jaguars in a position where you get the number 1 pick and then another pick, 15th to 18th, wherever it is?
I would trade down. Because
you would not take Lawrence?
No, I would trade down.
Ooh, no, I don't agree with that.
I say you take Lawrence.
I say if you get some kind of King's ransom.
Yeah, King's ransom.
I think you trade down into like the 4 or 5 spot, and you know what? I'd be just as happy going with.
Who's going to give you 3 first-round picks, though?
You mean like Wilson or somebody like that?
I would rather get that. I would rather get more picks. You already have the receiver and running back.
Mm-hmm.
You need linemen.
Yeah, but they're in such a good spot. When you
Like
get the number 1 pick, that doesn't happen very often.
Mm-hmm.
And Lawrence, they're saying, could be one of the next biggest,
Right.
So it's like you kind of got to take him.
That's kind of what Kyler Murray. He was the next biggest thing. Cardinals jumped on.
The good thing about them, like we talked about the Jets are. I know their record's better, but to me, the Jaguars, I think, are set up better.
Right, they have a better talent.
They've got a good running back.
Right.
They've got some receivers. You know what I mean? Like you're not.
Well, here's a question, because there have been rumors that Urban Meyer might be interested.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about that.
I don't know, but like you said, it is a decent setup. You get the number 1 pick. You get Lawrence. You're gonna. You would start him right away, just like the Colts did with Peyton Manning back in '98.
You got 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders.
Yeah, you're in a decent position to get the team set up for success for the long run. So we'll move on from that one, though. We still got a couple more games to get through here before we do our pick'ems. The 8-7 Cardinals at the 9-6 Rams. The Rams won this game, kind of a defensive battle. 18-7 was the final score.
And the Cardinals needed this game.
Yeah, the Cardinals needed the win. They fell to 8-8. The Rams jumped up to 10-6 and locked themselves into the playoffs.
The Cardinals would have won.
So,
they would have overtaken the Bears spot. So Cardinals are, like we said last week, they looked pretty good there for a little while, and then they just kind of all fell apart. Kyler Murray was like it was the big talk of the league there for a few weeks.
Right.
Kyler Murray's tearing it up, and then after that it was like,
man.
I don't hear about it anymore.
Commercial with Tim Tebow.
That's a funny ass commercial.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys think Fitzgerald?
Yeah, I think Fitzgerald might be his final season. He
said
might come back for one more.
I think I read that he's probably done.
Yeah.
That's what they were speculating.
Yeah, well, I would speculate that he's done. He might come back for one more if he just has the itch. But yeah, if he calls it quits, it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of a career. Frank Gore's the same way.
Jason Witten.
So on the Rams side of things, they're 10-6 now. Kind of a grinded out defensive battle here, 18-7. They lost. The Rams lost to the Seahawks the week before in kind of a low scoring defensive battle. So what's going on with the Rams here? Just defensive battles last couple of weeks.
Miss.
They're another one of those teams.
They're not really putting up a ton of points. They put up 18 points on the Cardinals, and they have receivers that go. They've got Cooper Kupp. They've got
Woods.
Yeah, Woods on one side, Kupp on the other side. You would think that they were just in the damn Super Bowl a couple years ago. So
so were the Falcons.
Right. They've kind of fallen off, man. I don't know what it is about them.
They're one of those inconsistent teams. I remember there for a little while. Sean McVay was
awesome.
McVay.
He was the next.
Everybody that had anything to do with Sean McVay was getting hired. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, they shook hands with Sean McVay. Let's hire him as their.
Yeah, so Rams are 10-6 now. They did get into the playoffs, but we'll have to see what happens.
They're a couple spots away from a rebuild.
Yeah.
So the next one, the 11-4 Seahawks at the 6-9 49ers. The Seahawks won this game 26-23.
This was closer than
They
it should have been.
Closer than we
they
thought.
always, for some reason, even though the 49ers are decimated,
Play
they
well.
always play the Seahawks really tight.
They played divisional games
Yeah,
really tight,
yeah.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks are 12-4. They locked the 3 seed. The 49ers fell to 6-10, right about where the Cowboys are at. Kind of funny seeing the Cowboys and 49ers used to be Super Bowl teams, and now they're going 6-10 in 2020.
Times have changed.
Times have definitely changed, but let's start with 49ers, like you were saying. They tend to play divisional games well.
Yeah.
They did lose this game, though.
This
Does
is-
Garoppolo come back? That's my main question.
No.
I don't think he does.
What are you doing? What are you doing with the 49ers? You're sick. You just went 6-10.
Cousins.
You were
Yeah.
decimated by
Give
injuries.
him-
Like I said, do you bring Garoppolo back? Do you draft another guy? Do you go after a veteran? Do you get rid of Garop and then go
I'd
after a
say-
veteran
I'd
like
say
Stafford, Ryan?
I'd say probably Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a spot where
They've got talent. They were decimated by injuries.
You got Kittle, they got
They-
young running backs, they got young receivers.
Yes.
What promising.
Kittle's coming back next year with a vengeance. Kelsey set the tight end record.
Mm-hmm.
Kittle made a statement about that and said, "I'm glad he broke the record. It gives me something to go for next year, or 2021."
Yeah, he didn't help me with my fantasy team this year.
So with him coming back, man, and not only coming back, but he's coming back with that mentality,
Could we ever see
with
it?
that really strong mentality that he wants to go back and re-break the record that Kelsey
You-
just broke that he held.
Do you think we could see a tight end ever go for 2,000 yards?
Oh man, I don't know because it's so much over the middle. It's tight ends are
Make it
kind
hard.
of your dink and dunk,
Mm-hmm.
5-10 yards. I mean Kittle and Kelsey have opened it up a little bit, but their tight ends
Darren Waller's been playing good too.
generally tight ends aren't as fast
Mm-hmm.
as a receiver, and they don't get the one-on-ones. They're kind of going over the middle, or it's like an up and out.
Mhm.
It's kind of a 5-yard dink, and then they kind of make the yards after the catch happen to get the first down.
Mm-hmm.
If they do break loose, I don't know if we'd see a 2,000-yard tight end.
I'd say maybe
But
16.
I could see 1,500-1,600, but you never know. Times are changing.
Mm-hmm.
They are getting faster, but generally your tight ends are lining up against linebackers, and they're kind of in the middle of the field. So you're not really working the edges where you could get the one-on-one on the outside. You're working the middle of the field where there's fucking five linebackers, and you're 3 linebackers and 2 safeties. You know what I mean? So you generally don't have that one-on-one
Waller had a couple
capability.
of them.
Yeah.
Like I said, it happens, but I just generally, over the course of a season, I don't see a 2,000-yard happening by a tight end. I think that's about it.
49ers just got to get healthy.
Yeah, I mean,
Got to get healthy and
Mhm.
figure out the quarterback situation.
So
Cousins.
yeah, on the we talked about the Seahawks side of things. They're 12-4. They're in good position, the playoff position. Tight game here. The Seahawks have been kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
We thought Wilson was on MVP pace, but he did cool off quite a bit.
And they do
They-
have some defensive issues.
They were
so
still winning games, but he cooled off quite a bit statistically.
I think the NFC, there's a lot of teams that are kind of
Hit and
hit
miss.
and miss.
Yeah, hit
I mean,
and miss.
either
Right.
their offense is really good and their defense is kind of.
The defense is good, vice versa.
It's odd.
You were saying earlier about Brady doing that with Antonio. Wilson did this with a receiver of his. He needed one catch at the end of the game, which was underneath the 2-minute warning, and the play call from the coach was a kneel down, and he overrode the kneel down to do a shovel pass to get the guy one more catch that he needed for $100,000 bonus. He did it for the receiver. Because that receiver.
Anybody want to give me $100,000?
Yeah, the receiver. I guess I don't know
Was
who
it
it
Metcalf?
was.
No.
It was not Metcalf. but it was a guy. He was only making $850,000.
Woo.
Yeah, yeah,
Only.
only.
I take 50.
But Russell did
Chump
that
change.
for the receiver just to get him to the, like you said, Brown's was 45 catches, whatever this guy's was 40 or 50. He was at like 39, and it was just a little shovel pass, dink for 3 or 4 yards, and then they kneeled it the very next play. They weren't going for a touchdown. He literally did it to let that receiver get a $100,000 bonus. So I mean that was pretty cool that Wilson did that.
Somebody must be telling him.
Somebody definitely told
Give me
him
that
that.
$100,000.
I want my 20.
So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, Seahawks are 12-4, hit and miss. I don't know what they're gonna look like in the playoffs. I think this is gonna be a really competitive playoffs.
Yeah.
This season, honestly. There's one last game, the Sunday night game.
Woo!
The 6-9 football team at the 4-10-1 Eagles. You brought it up earlier about the Eagles. The football team won the game 20-14. But
yeah, the Eagles.
Kind of shady going.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of talk. Somehow, it was the third quarter. Was it the third quarter or the fourth quarter? I can't remember what
I think it was the third.
They took Jalen Hurts. Doug Peterson took Jalen Hurts out.
He got hurt.
Because he wanted to look at Nate Studfeld.
He was 29 years old.
Another touchdown, they would have won the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't get it.
It seemed shady, and a lot of Giants players were pissed off. And actually, it just came on my phone.
The Giants.
Joe Judge upset with the Eagles. He said disrespected the game by going out there and not competing for 60 minutes.
And that's true.
And they went from the 9th pick
to the
6th.
So did they tank? They had no shot at the playoffs.
Jalen Hurts wasn't happy.
Like legitimately, they had no shot, even if they won the game.
Yeah, but you gotta be competitive.
Yeah.
There was no reason to look at Nate Studfeld or what. You know what I mean?
I know, but it's.
You got a rookie that's maybe your future.
It's
Why
very
wouldn't you
hard
play him?
it's very hard to say what the coach did or didn't do.
It just seems very odd, and everybody thinks it's odd. I mean,
it does.
Now again,
but like you said about the Giants, though, the Giants players were bitching and pissed. But go out and win more games.
Yeah, if they
go out and go
one more
6
game, they wouldn't have had to worry about it. Yeah.
Now how'd that go? So if the Eagles would have won, Washington lost, who would have got in?
The Giants.
Yeah.
Because if the thing said that if the Giants won against the Cowboys, the Giants had the tiebreaker over the Cowboys and the football team. If they all three tied at 6-10.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of go back over what you said. Where are the Giants at? You're what? You're 6-10.
Yeah.
You're 6-10. You don't.
That's what you were saying earlier. Go out and win more football games in 6 games. There's nothing to be bitching about. Same with the Cowboys. If the Cowboys had won this game, we would have been 7-9, right there with the football team. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I'm not sure who gets in at that point.
It was shady, and it doesn't make any sense. And
that's kind of the Eagle organization.
Yeah, they asked him after the game, why would you do that? And he's just like, well, we wanted to get a look at Nate. It's like, you've already seen him.
Yeah, now...
He's played. He's like 29.
Right. Now, on the flip side...
And he threw 2 interceptions, I think.
On the football team side of things, they're 7-9. They locked the division. They're the 4 seed, which I disagree with. But it is part of the NFL. Alex Smith has played well when he had the opportunities. Mm-hmm. He's going to be comeback player of the year.
He is.
There's no one else even in contention at this point. It's definitely Alex Smith.
But overall, they're a one and done. I mean, they're not going to win.
That's what I think too. It's just.
Could they shock?
But you don't know because they shocked Pittsburgh.
True.
They shocked Pittsburgh. I'm holding on to that. They shocked Pittsburgh, but they do play the Buccaneers and the defensive end Chase Young. Chase Young. So said he's coming after Tom Brady.
Is that you, Rona?
No, it's just a dry drink. But Chase Young said that he's coming after Brady. What do you think about that?
I think Brady's been on his back a lot this year. I mean, he has. If you look back at the games, the offensive line hasn't held up very well. I mean,
that's one thing that he got with New England. He always had a line.
But man, when you call Brady out, that tends to get under his skin, and he uses that as motivation. Generally when he was with New England. somebody would call New England out, oh, who's Brady? And then he would just get fired up and go out and fucking beat you 35 to fucking 14,
I just can't see a 7-19 beaten. I mean, they barely beat the 4-10-1 Eagles.
Weirder things.
And they may not have had Hurts played the rest of the game.
Right.
So weirder things have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen.
That finishes up the Week 17 games. We took a lot of time to go through those. We're an hour in. We'll go to our pick-ems.
We kind of already did that at the beginning.
We kind of did, but we didn't call our officials.
True.
So I'm in last place again. I went 12-4, but I'm 152 and 105.
I'm in second place. I went 13-3, which I had first place this week, but I'm in second place overall. 164 and 92.
And I went 12-4, right with Jordan there. So I'm 165 and 91. So we're just one game apart. We still got some playoff games to pick. So anything is possible between us two.
Yep, I'm out.
So mathematically,
you could win all the rest of the games probably.
If he chose every game different, but I somebody's probably gonna pick with him on a few.
So going into wild card, Chiefs and the Packers got the number 1 seed, the number 1 bye. So we're gonna go with the Saturday earlies. We got the number 7 Colts and the 2 Bills.
I gotta go with my my Bills, but I gotta go with the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills are tearing it up.
The Colts is my secondary team. Cowboys is my favorite team, but the Bills is tearing it up. I didn't see enough out of the Colts again in this Jaguars game that's gonna show me that they're gonna beat the freaking Bills, man.
Bills are playing at a really high level right now.
Yeah, they are.
Next one, we got the number 6 Rams and the 3 Seahawks. This could go either way.
Yeah, it could.
Because they just played Seattle a couple weeks ago.
Normally when you play in Seattle, it's tough because of that crowd. There's no crowd.
Right, there's no crowd because of COVID.
Gosh.
I'm going to go Seattle. Just it's the main pick. It's a sexy pick.
I'm going Seahawks.
Yeah.
So it's we're going to have the 2 and the 3 in. Next one, we got our Saturday night game, the number 5 Bucks and the number 4 football team.
I think it's going to be a better game than what we think, but I am going to take the Buccaneers. But I think the football teams are going to hang in there. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Next one, we got the Sunday earlies. We got the 5 Ravens and the 4 Titans. This could go either way.
It could. You got to stop Derrick Henry.
If they stop Henry, I think the Ravens win. I'm going Ravens.
I'll go Ravens.
I'm going to go Ravens as well.
This is it. They don't win. There ain't no chance of playoffs ever. Next one, we got the Sunday mids. We got the 7 Bears and the 2 Saints. I'm going Saints.
Yeah, I'm going Saints as well.
So far, we've picked every game exactly the same.
Oh, really?
Now we got Sunday night, the 6 Browns and the 3 Steelers.
I'm gonna go
Steelers. This is gonna divide the house right here.
I'm gonna do the crazy thing, and I'm gonna pick the Browns this week.
Okay.
They played them. They just played them. I know they barely beat them, but we'll see. I think there's got to be an upset somewhere in this week.
Mm-hmm. And we took every game the same, but I mean that's
every game we've taken pretty much the favorites.
And this will put me tied with you.
Yeah.
If not, I'll be 2 games behind.
So we're pretty much guaranteed to be the same up until that game.
Yeah.
So
win or lose.
Like I said, I've seen the Browns play really good this year in certain games. So
I'm going Browns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Browns too.
Kind of weird that we got 3 AFC North teams that are in the playoffs.
Yeah. Steelers, Browns, and Ravens. All right, that
pretty
much wraps it up.
That does it.
We will be back next week, next Monday.
Yeah, we're doing Monday.
We're going to try to do Monday so that way we're hitting it. It's still fresh in our minds after the...
We're going to be hitting it.
No more Monday games, so...
No more Monday games. It's all Sunday games, Saturday and Sunday games.
Yeah.
So like our Facebook page.
Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff.
Send us a message.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk to us. We're bored.
Yeah. Talk to us.
We need help. Help us.
Help.